Hey everybody, Amitabh Metalove here. Just wanted to share something with you today that I'm putting into practice and that you might consider trying. So the idea is to release the need to be significant. I think you'll find that anytime you're upset, anytime there's any sort of need or want, um, or when we're thinking that someone else is the cause of an upset, it's because we haven't been seen as being significant or heard. Um, and I think it's an impossible feat. I mean, really, we need to find all the resources for happiness within ourselves. And this is what the Buddha teaches. He says, "Be an island unto yourself." Use the four foundations of mindfulness: the body, feelings, the mind, and mind objects. Be with them only, and become dispassionate towards the world. So renounce the world, and it doesn't mean you have to give up what you're doing. It doesn't mean that you have to stop your hobbies or whatever, or leave your family or anything like that. But it means that realizing that everything outside of you is just a phenomena to be observed. And the thing is with significance is it's completely unattainable. You can never become significant. I mean, a lot of people focus on, we're all one, and this is mostly, I would say, for 99.999 to the highest remainder percent of people have taken this on as a belief we're all one, and so the idea of becoming free because by merging with everything is almost an impossible feat, because we have a brain, we have this separate identity, this separate belief system that we've been conditioned for our entire lives. So to suddenly try, or even over time, try to merge with everyone's personality, that means that someone punches you in the face, that's you punching yourself in the face. That means that somebody, rapes you, that's you that raped yourself. Nobody did it to you. That means that somebody murders your mother. Oh, that means that's you that murdered your mother. So you have to go through this whole kind of psychosis almost to buy into this belief fully and really be there. Whereas we can go the other way. So there's becoming at one with everything and dissolving into nothingness, becoming completely insignificant. What if we became completely insignificant? Because isn't that a quicker way? Isn't that a quicker way back home? If you can release the need to be right, release the need to be significant, release the need to be heard, release everything, release the need for feelings to be validated. I'm not saying I'm perfect on this. It's something I'm working on. It's like dissolving into the ocean instead of trying to touch every peak of every wave at once. You can't possibly do it. I mean, maybe there's a way you can find a way to expand yourself that big so that your identity is so huge that you identify with everything. But isn't the easier way to just let it all go anyways? Just release the identity, just release it all. And I think the only way to do this is to restrain yourself. The Buddha really talked about restraint. So the mind's going to go off, the feelings are going to go off, the mind objects are moving around all the time, perceptions are going to be liking and disliking, and what we need to do is just watch that and realize that none of this is self. If it changes, it can't be self. It can't be who I am. Because if who you are changes, then you're not a static self anyways, because that means that you change all the time. And if you change all the time, how can you possibly find any peace? So really, the best thing to do is to say, this is not who I am. This is not mine, at least. At least it's not mine. At least we can all agree, maybe, that the thoughts that arise, they're not mine, because they at least are dependent on previous thoughts. They're at least dependent on so many things that I can't possibly understand in this moment. My biology, it can be affecting it. something somebody said. So contact can be affecting it. A previous thought I had can be affecting it and creating it. And if you really watch the mind, you'll see that most times the thought that we're ruminating about came from a previous thought. So it just grew. So if we just realize that none of this is mine, none of this is self, at least say it's not mine. It's not mine, so that you can put it down. So you can allow it to be, okay, there's anger there. There's a desire to be heard there. There's a desire to be understood there. There's desire for significance. There's a desire for pleasure or wanting to move away from pain. Whatever it is, and you can just put it down. And it sounds pretty easy to do, right? But it's actually not. I mean, this is something we have to work at. And the way we can do it is by building strength. We have to build concentration. So that's why the Buddha says, first foundation of mindfulness of the body. And when he talks about mindfulness of the body, he's talking about mindfulness of breathing. So building some concentration so that, and pleasure, and a source of pleasure. So this is really important, and not a lot of people talk about. The breath can be a real source of pleasure. You could use loving kindness if you want it, but the breath is with you all the time and never leaves you until you die. So if you stay with the breath, eventually, if you really stay with it, don't get frustrated and just give up. Just come back. That's your holy Bible is your breath. Just keep coming back to it again and again and again. Eventually, it will provide you with incredible pleasure, incredible peace, and you use that peace as your refuge, that pleasure as your refuge. The Buddha talks about, the first jhana is when you sit. It doesn't have to be sitting though. I mean, the true jhana needs to happen during a sitting meditation, but you can bring these concepts into the world. And he says, through seclusion from the senses, we can experience rapture. We can experience peace. So it can only happen from seclusion of the senses. So complete non-identification of the senses. So you have to let it go. Anything that arises, that's not mine. That's not mine. I'm going to let it go. I'm going to come back to something that, at least claim your breath. Claim your breath. It's with you all the time. It doesn't change. I mean, it can change in how it is, but it doesn't change what it is. For your entire life, it's there. Your breath. Identify at least with that, if you want to identify with anything in this life. Your breath, at least, you even say, my breath is who I am, because, without your breath, you won't have, an existence here. You won't have a body. You won't be able to move. You won't be able to live. So the breath, you could say, breath is closer to who you are than anything else in this life. Awareness maybe. But awareness is tricky, right? Awareness gets caught up in things way too easily. So staying with the breath is really a great tool to anchor us down into the present moment. So we can build some concentration. It's like working on a muscle. And in order to lift heavy objects, you have to practice. You have to practice lifting light, heavy, and then eventually you can lift. In your daily life, you practice lifting weights, and then in your daily life, you go to pick up a heavy log, and then it's no problem. It's the same thing with the mind. If you work it out and build some concentration and mindfulness, then it can lift these heavier emotions like anger, like feeling unheard, like feeling upset, like feeling depressed. It can lift these up and elevate them and say, look at it, because you can't even look at it. It drags you down if you don't have the mindfulness and the concentration strength. So you have to be able to lift it up and really look at it and see it and realize this is not mine either. If I can lift it up, then I can let it go. But otherwise, the emotions will just drag you down because you think that's who you are. But they're not. Any single emotion you've ever had in your life is not who you are. It's not who I am. And the Buddha talks about, everything is burning in the fire sermon. And if you realize that everything is burning, my consciousness is burning, contact is burning, the body is burning, feeling is burning, perceptions are burning, liking and disliking, they're all burning. Everything is fire. And just radically let everything go. If you want to learn how to live in the present moment, a lot of people talk about it, but we don't really know how to do it. It takes this kind of vigilance and this kind of attitude towards reality to just let it completely go. All spiritual teachers that have any sort of worth all talk about letting things go. So we can do that, but we have to be willing to release our need to be significant, our need to be right, our need to figure things out, even to say, you know what, something has arisen in my awareness, in this awareness, in awareness, and I can look at it. Just look at it. Investigation of the Dhamma is one of the 7 factors of enlightenment that the Buddha taught. So we need to investigate the Dhamma. The Dhamma is anything that arises. It's the truth as it is. So whatever arises, anger is there. That's the truth in the moment. It's not your truth. It's not yours to identify with. It's not yours to justify or to heal. It's just something has arisen. An emotion has arisen. A feeling has arisen. So hold it, but then put it down. Allow yourself at least the opportunity and the option to put it down. This is not mine. Doesn't matter where I think it came from, who I think caused it. It arose within me, and therefore it's mine to let go. So just want to share some ideas with you. Let me know what you think, and use your breath as the anchor. Use something as the anchor. I think the breath is the best option because it doesn't stop until you die. Using a mantra, it changes because you're going to think about something else. You could use the body or the breath; they're always going to be there. So feeling your body. It could be putting your awareness in your body. Eckhart Tolle talks about putting your awareness in your hands, and then in your feet, and then your whole body eventually. Full body awareness. This is the teachings of the Buddha. This is the second foundation of mindfulness. Well, it's actually the first. Body and feelings are first and second. So follow your own experience. Take a refuge in yourself. The Buddha says that we should make an island unto ourselves, make ourselves our refuge. So there's no spiritual teacher even needed. The only thing I'm sharing with you is how to be your own spiritual teacher. The only thing the Buddha taught us is how to be our own spiritual teacher. You are your own master. And if you're your master, you have to be willing to take responsibility for that power and take true responsibility for what you can do. You can let anything go. You just have to want to. You have to say, this is not that important. What's important is the peace that transcends all these experiences that I've heard so much about, and you can experience. Trust me. The more we let go, the more we build concentration, the more we make the mind one-pointed, at least to build strength, and so that we can allow ourselves to be able to hold these heavier objects, these heavier emotions and feelings, the more freedom we're going to have. So I just want to share this message with you. I hope it helps, and let me know how this works for you. I love you.